Hello, everyone. It's Maya at Coins, and I'm back with another question and answer session. So, as I've said before, I get these questions from members, from users who request to join my Facebook group dedicated to sharing resources and information about securing more financial aid and scholarships. And in order for people to get accepted into the group, they have to name their number one or their main scholarship or financial aid concern or question. And I got this one about supporting low income students with scholarships and financial aid. So let me enlarge this and we'll get into it. So the question or the concern says, working with students from low income backgrounds that need help with college, financial aid, and scholarships. Okay, so there's a couple of things I can say to this. Um, and there's quite a bit of insight that I can provide. But for the sake of this short video, I'll make a quick rundown. Number one, I was a low income student in high school, and I got scholarships that were dedicated to low income students, and I also got merit scholarships that were open for any student that would qualify or who were eligible, right? And the number one piece of advice I can give a mentor or a guidance counselor, it seems like you're an older adult that is working with young students. The number one thing that I could say is that even though low income students will be eligible for certain programs due to their socioeconomic standing or their families, you still want to encourage these students to perform as well as they can academically. Because I will say that when a student comes from a low income background and they also perform very well academically, it makes them even more competitive, doubly competitive, very attractive to scholarship programs and people who invest in students through funding programs and scholarships and fellowships and so on and so forth. Um, so push these students to still perform well. Push them to take AP classes, honors classes, push them to take those prep classes for standardized tests, the ACT, the SAT. Okay. The second piece of advice I would give to you, I'm gonna let's see. I'm gonna switch screens now. The second piece of advice that I would give to you is to familiarize yourself with the most, you know, the more well-known programs dedicated to low income students. Okay. I got one of the bigger ones. So I got the Gates Millennium Scholarship. That scholarship was dedicated to minority students who are low income, but who also performed academically well, right? And who also had a dedication to community service and so on and so forth. But there are a host of other scholarships that are dedicated to low income students as well. And so let's look into some of these. Okay. So I just did a quick Google search to see if anything had changed over the years because I've been out of high school for quite some time. Quite some time. I'm a PhD candidate now, right? All right. So you look on the screen. We have, what do we have? We have Big Future Scholarship. We have Anita Borg Memorial Scholarship, the Gates Scholarship. So I got the Gates Scholarship. The AIMCO Cares Opportunity Scholarship, the Dell Scholars. My best friend in high school got the Dell Scholarship. She was also low income. And just, you see right here, you see the list. You can read. You can pause it if you need to, if you're, watching this back. the Jack Kent Cook Foundation scholarship or whatever. All right, now let's see. I'm gonna switch tabs. So, I'm on this list: 15 generous scholarships for low income students. Okay, bam. Here, you know what? I'm gonna share this link in the chat. So if you guys want to come back and if you're rewatching this live, you can just click on this link. Right, I have it right here. You can check on that link right there. Click on it if you're interested. So I would familiarize myself with these programs right here. Horatio Alger National Scholarship's very popular. Gates Scholarship, there you go. Hagen Scholarship. Ron Brown, yeah, I remember applying to Ron Brown. That's super competitive. Questbridge, yes. I made a video about Questbridge. Check out my previous videos. I made a video about a low income student from Alabama who just got into Stanford. And he got the Questbridge scholarship. Let me check this out on this link. Yep, yep. Mm-hmm. Wow, this is so impressive. These students, man. Mm. Davis Putter, Dell Scholars. Okay, all right. I think with the Dell Scholar, they give you a laptop too. I know my friend growing up, she got a laptop. Look, in the Dell Scholars program, you only need a 2.4 GPA. Okay, but you have to be Pell Grant eligible. Typically, all low income students are Pell Grant eligible, right? And I know I made the comment earlier about how you also want to encourage your students that you work with to be academically competitive because it just improves their odds of securing scholarships and funding. But I'm pointing this out because there are scholarships that understand that not every student is going to have a 4.0. Not every student is going to have a 3.5. But they acknowledge that, yet and still these students deserve a chance at higher education, right? So I would do that. And the last piece of advice I can give to you is to familiarize yourself with the FAFSA process. I've heard some kind of scary things about FAFSA recently. Um, so that can be challenging. Okay. As a low income student whose parents were not the most responsible, I can say that it would have been really helpful if I had a person like you who is asking this question. You who are asking this question, like if I had a mentor or guidance counselor that contacted my parents and say, "Hey, do you have your tax returns?" That would have been so helpful because there have been times where I almost missed out on federal funding, like the Pell Grants and the funding that's determined by the FAFSA because my parents were nonchalant and they weren't on top of their taxes. So as a person who is supporting low income students get scholarships, if you could get in contact with those students, with the parents of those students and encourage those parents of the students to file their taxes or to submit their W-2s and their tax information, that would be very helpful. I wish I had someone like that, but that burden was on me. I had literally had to harass my parents like, "Hey, get those tax papers in, those tax returns papers. Like, I need it for it was a lot on me." So if you could lessen the burden of the students that you're working with, that would be a huge help. And I'm speaking from the experience of being a low income student, as a high schooler and throughout my undergraduate career as well. Okay. And if you're still working with these students as they matriculate into their undergraduate programs, I would also encourage them to continue to apply for scholarships, even though they're already in college, because, you can still apply for scholarships as an undergraduate student, as a freshman in college, as a sophomore in college, and so on and so forth. And I would also encourage them to really explore the resources of the university or college that they attend. for low income students because there are support programs for students. There are if a college has a great endowment or if the college has great funding from the federal government, if it's a public school, they likely have resources set aside specifically for first generation college students, who are often low income, and low income college students in general. Okay. All right. So I hope this video was helpful and thank you for your question. And honestly, thank you for your service. I I love to see people who are in this space helping students secure funding. It is much, much, much needed. Um, and yeah, please, I mean, if you have any more questions, feel free to jump on the YouTube or jump in the Facebook group and ask them. And thank you for being here. And thank you for being a part of this community. Um, yeah, until next time, see you later.